Again, thank you for joining us. If you're watching this on the replay, we were having some technical difficulties. We hope they won't happen again. It looks like we both have great internet service, and so it will be the software program that delivers this to all of y'all that may be having issues. So we'll hopefully be good with the show now. It does look like we are good to go, and we are streaming. So again, thank all of you for joining us. But yeah, this is kind of a bittersweet day for right now. This is going to be our last Sunday show. Of course, if you've been following along with us at any point in time, you do know that school's about to start up with Matt. And so one part, we want to let him be able to properly study for his stuff. And then, just with my side of things, schedules just may not match up as nicely as we would want for our Sunday shows. But we are here. We have about 5 or 6 of you here now. So thank y'all for being here. But Matt, how's your weekend going?
Pretty good. I'm just retweeting, kind of saying, sorry, I can't. At the moment, I can't do two things.
That's fine.
Because all I'm hearing is breaking up, so I just want to make sure I don't type the wrong thing.
Yeah. Again, if you're here, thank you for joining us. We hope that the audio is sounding okay on y'all's end of things. And if not, well, that sucks. But if you were with us at any point when we first started doing live streams, you know that there was lots of technical issues that went on. And was audio working? Was it not working? It was always just a chore. And we've been pretty good so far, but it seems like here and there, technology doesn't want to cooperate. And what are you going to do? It's not much.
No, it sure doesn't. What's wild is I can see you talking on the stream through Twitter. Oh, you're back on this one. Okay. All
right. Chris, he says, hey, I'll try to stay on as long as I can. My AC has been out for over a day, and my internet is in and out today. I can't win. Well,
that's kind of how we feel. We've been trying to get everything working, and it just like it was Chris, like right back to day one.
It really was. Chris, does it sound good? Like, is our audio okay? Is it bearable?
Yeah.
You're like our guinea pig here that is actually chatting with us for a sec, because I can hear Matt, but that doesn't mean y'all can hear us. We've learned this in the past.
One of our lives, the first couple we did not put a timer on. We just let them run for hours just because we needed that. We just needed time to pass to see if it would be stable. And there was one point where I couldn't see Cody. Various people couldn't hear me, but some people could see both of us. So we had no idea what the other was doing. It was so frustrating.
It was a mess.
Oh my gosh, it was so frustrating. So yeah, we wanted to do this to hang out, and it's going to be our very last Sunday for probably a while, probably till next summer, I would guess. We'll still do other stuff, but we'll still do one episode a week along with Friday Lives and any special stuff that we like to do, or we jump on. I like recording episodes live. That's one of my favorite things to do. It makes it a little awkward for Cody, I think. But I think it's really fun. I think it's fun for people to see what we do, how we do it, the things we stop and check, or when somebody forgets what they were going to say. Because we don't script. We do not script out what we're going to talk about. We script out. It's not so much scripted, but kind of like bullet points. Like, hey, I want to mention this when we talk about this. And sometimes you're in the middle of it, and you're like, I don't know.
Chris says, yeah. Yep, it's perfect. I can hear you both fine. Matt has just a little delay, but the sound is great. Well, the sound is what's the most important. Sound is what's most important.
So I was thinking, I was going to talk to you about this after, but since it's a Sunday live, we can do a little more. So I was going to record, see what you thought of this, because coordination is terrible. There's a couple segments I want to record with Clint, and I thought, well, maybe I'll have him record it for us and just send them to you. to kind of fill in for our August 13th, Friday the 13th episode, which is also our 100th episode. I'm so excited.
Yes, that's
We
exciting.
did
So be
like a
sure and
whole
tune
100
in.
episodes. We'll have done 100 of these things, and that's
It's
really exciting.
crazy.
Most podcasts don't get past what, 3 months?
Yeah,
You know,
it
it's
just people don't realize at the outset how much time it takes and effort it takes to actually do it and come up with stuff on a constant basis.
well,
And
and also
so,
keep that energy. I mean, we
yeah.
both have bad days with it. There's times where you're like, a negative interaction on the wrong day can make you not want to do anything, you know, because we're still human. And of course, uh, it can be a lot. And of course, I've been quietly struggling with like being accepted to nursing school after a denial. And then the school I'm going to actually had my information for 9 months. And it wasn't until like my seventh phone call of like calling, and harassing
Hmm.
when they were like, oh, yeah, we have everything. I could have been accepted the prior. I did get waitlisted for University of Texas Arlington
Hmm.
in fall of 2020 for a winter start, or for the fall of 2020 start date. I got waitlisted. That's fine. I could have actually applied and been starting last January, or yeah, I could have started last January instead of now. And Chris,
Mm.
yes, we are still going to be doing Friday night streams and a normal episode every week instead of right now. We've been doing 2 episodes a week and 2 live streams every week, and that's it's been like a
Yeah.
part-time job between the two of
I was gonna
us.
say we were
And
talking
for Cody
about.
and I, it really kind of there's a lot of stuff we talk about, but it kind of like cuts into our friendship because sometimes I'm trying to tell him something that I've been waiting to tell him for 4 days, and he'll be like, "All right, starting," and I'm like, "But we have to get it done because we both have schedules." But at the same time, we are friends, and it's like, "No, I don't want to share that on camera yet." But sometimes I get frustrated and I just share it on camera because, all right, well, if we don't have time to talk about it beforehand, we're going to talk about it here. And Cody's like, damn editing.
um, yeah, I mean that's exactly right. The first season we did, and we'll talk about some of this more details. But if you're here, it's like a sneak peek of what we'll be talking about because we're going to talk about what the new season is going to offer and everything. But like the first season, we did like one episode a week, and then it was sporadic because pandemic, and then there was a lot of happening in 2000. And then this year, you're right, we just hit it out of the gate and it was 2 episodes a week, and that's a lot of content to like feel and come up with, and we were able to do it. And that's like you were saying, some people can't even get past doing the 1 episode a week of content, after a month or
It's
two. They're
hard.
just like out because they get frustrated a lot of times because the viewership, it does take a while for viewership to grow, and then once it starts
And
taking off,
sometimes
it'll
it just
take off.
doesn't. And sometimes it just doesn't grow. You have to do it for yourself. Like you have
Hmm.
to do something that you care about, which that's something I struggle with because sometimes, I mean, I'm very forward with Cody. As you follow me on Twitter, if you know me in real life, I will tell you what I think. I'm almost incapable of not. And if something's getting under my skin and it's like, well, this isn't working for me, we can't keep this pace. And I know, Cody, I'm sure you're feeling tired from an entire year of this, along with the fatigue of pandemic. Justin works from home full time. Each of us have had to change our laptops, upgrade equipment, change equipment, move around our houses to get everything, along with internet and tech fails left and right because of the added pressure of a million people being online at the same time that normally aren't. Um, and also just having the energy to do it. I'm really good at ideas, but just because you have an idea doesn't mean it's feasible or possible because some of the stuff we plan to do involved us coming to each other's houses. That is suddenly not really possible, not safely. I'm getting ready to go back to the hospitals. I'm vaccinated and I'm going to be wearing masks, but that's not really a comfort to Cody, who has anxiety. Like this isn't going to help him. So we had to kind of change gears. So what will happen is I might have like 40 ideas, and poor Cody hears all of them at once because we only have limited amounts of time where we can actually interact with each other outside of the podcast. Because other than that, we would literally talk to each other more than we talk to Justin and David. because it's true. It is almost a full-time job at times. But then it's from those ideas where it's like, it's a good jumping point, but we can't do that. And then that'll evolve into something else. And Cody just, and I never worry about trying to curate the idea. I just tell him because I'm not trying, unless it's something very, very specific that I envision. Most of the time, it's just the idea. I want Cody's feedback because he's going to be the one that knows, oh, we can try that, or no, I haven't, no, that I'm not going to be able to do that reasonably, or yes, but we can do that as a special thing. And that is how we keep
We
our sanity.
Yeah, I mean, I am excited. We'll still, like Matt said, Chris, we will still have the Friday streams and whatever. Obviously, if there's something like crazy that happens that we need to talk about and it needs to be live and we need to talk about it right now, we'll see if we can fit it in and work it in or whatever, So we'll still be here, still getting a lot of content, and
I
so
actually
it's
think
gonna be fun.
I had an idea for you that I was going to pitch after, but I'm just gonna, since again it's Sunday, we do what the hell we want. I was thinking it'd be really interesting to kind of chronicle. Maybe we'll do this as like a side series, like on the side, or add it into an episode that, with all the new nursing and pro staff that are now training in the pandemic, in all of this, what is it like? What is happening? Like, how is this? Is there changes? Is there updates? How are people feeling about it? And I think it would be really interesting to kind of talk about it from that perspective, because
Mhm.
I'll be a brand new nursing student. I've worked in clinical environments, but I've never been a clinical professional. Like, I've never been like on, I've worked with, but not on that side of it.
Yeah.
So I've always had that kind of safety barrier of like, well, if they're that stressed out, it's kind of not my, it's my problem, but not directly my problem. I'm
Mhm.
going to go call, I'm going to go call an adult generally. Now I'm going to be the adult. Shit. But I thought it'd be interesting, kind of like the chronicling of a nursing student, or make it a like a YouTube channel. I see some really good ones from people, and but being seriously ADHD and having gotten to where I am, I think there's a lot of people who struggle with the same mindset I do. And I think it'd be really interesting to kind of chronicle that and put it in, your editing skills help focus the ADHD. Because
Yeah,
it
I think that
lets,
would be a good series. I mean, maybe that is your series. We did record an
we,
episode of
we recorded a
Matt's
couple.
series, where we were.
I didn't like how it turned out.
Yeah.
Honestly, I enjoyed talking about it. It was really fun. But when I watching it kind of fill in, I was like, the production value on my end I felt was like too low. It was something, if we could do it in person, I think it would have turned out great, because we would have gone to the store, because I even had the set in mind that I wanted. I know what I wanted for it. But it's something that like I need like a week or two at Cody's house and to build it the way I want, and about $200 at a Michael's. you know, like
Yeah.
I know what I want. I don't just go into these things thinking, I might pitch the idea, but I really do have a vision 99% of the time. It's just I'm very open minded to,
Yeah.
what Cody thinks
Well,
is
and
a
I
good
think,
idea, especially
you
from
know,
being far apart.
yeah, I think, so like we have one episode of that, we did record that. But so I mean that is one of the other things that we've done. There will be ideas and something, and that one, the idea went pretty far, and so far that we recorded like a test
Recorded two
episode.
of them.
Yeah. And so but then in those cases you see something and it's like, you're like, oh, this isn't working how it is. The idea is still great, but at this time it doesn't work. So that is one of the
Yeah.
things that we've done over this time. And actually, we really like over the time of the past 2 years, we've basically developed into like three distinctly different podcasts over time. Like we have our crime, we have news, and then we have like LGBT content. And so,
Right.
and we didn't do that on purpose. We didn't do that on purpose, and it's one of those things that is evolved, and what people are liking and not liking, and what's working and what's not working, and they're all great ideas.
Right.
And so that it's all still going to be done. So also, if you like the content, it's still going to be there. So it's not going to be, you're not going to
Well, and
miss out
it's
on
also
anything.
talking about things that cause one or the other distress. I mean, it is not pleasant to sit and read about. It's one thing to read about some murder that happened 150 years ago. It's like at that point an urban legend, but almost every case that we talk about, it could be us. It could be one of us. These are things that impact us, whether it was 40 years ago or yesterday. It's still happening for the same reason around the world. So you read it with a different set of eyes than you do watching some, Netflix series,
Mm-hmm.
that's based on. It's very different reading the based on versus based in reality. And, it's a lot. I mean, I don't think it bothers me as much, but at the same time, you have to be cognizant of the fact that it's not just our listeners. Like, Cody is the one that has to sit here and edit this. He's the one that has to hear the crime details and everything played over and over and over in his head and ears and on a screen, complete with pictures and everything sometimes. So, when we were coming to season 2, I was like, okay, we did it my way. We did mostly what I wanted for season 1. I know that was a lot. It was pretty much what I wanted. That is what I envisioned when I wanted this. But I would much prefer for us to have been able to do it in person. It just isn't really possible. I mean, it's a lot to sit and research that. I I'm excited for season 3. We're gonna have. I don't like to majorly shift formats mid anything. I think it's a good idea to do it gradually, unless it's an end of a season. But it's pretty great that we're actually starting year 3 in a few months. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah. We I think we're gonna ultimately again, if you're here, you're hearing stuff that we'll probably fully talk about on Sunday, like as a this is what's happening. Y'all are getting behind the scenes. Um, but yeah, I
yeah,
think we're the new ish format is still gonna be topical, but we're gonna hopefully have a few guests come on and talk about these specific topics. So we talked about in the past that we can talk about in general trans issues or issues concerning asexual or different things like that. But we can't dive deep into that and get more feeling of what that is like as being affected by that. And so we're going to be talking to a few people and getting to hear their thoughts on it and interaction with us on these specific topics affecting different parts of the community. So I think that's going to be really exciting because you're going to get some insight that you might not know about in more detail from some of these people that are affected by these things. I think it's just going to be a lot of fun. And then like we're gonna have all our crime stuff. We're gonna shift it to one thing. So if you like crime stuff, it's all gonna be in one location.
yeah, you'll
Um,
be able to go look and be like, oh, I want to look at the crime stuff, and it'll be all there. If you want to look at just new stuff or our specials, it'll be there, because we have finally gotten to a point where we tried a couple different apps and stuff to keep it organized, and sometimes it'll function really well for the initial user, but not so, which is usually Cody, because Cody has an account for everything. I'm not kidding. Like, literally, he has an account for everything, which is wonderful. But when you're the other person trying to like navigate it, Cody's like, well, I don't see what the problem is. I'm like, because I don't have the exact, even though we're equals on it, it's just not something that wants to function equally for more than one person or off the same laptop. So it can be really frustrating. We're finding ways to share information, because you think all the things we talk about and all the things that, so Cody puts the Fridays script together, or the ideas that we're going to kind of talk about, based on a collection of all the things we've sent each other over the week. So yeah, so we still share all that information. Sometimes our text messages just looks like a series of like, it looks like the freaking apocalypse sometimes, because it's like all these apocalyptic events. And I don't mind the news, but I kind of have a mindset of I don't want everything to be just topical, because if you really want the news, you can go on Yahoo and read it. You know, if you're coming here to talk to us about it, it's because we are talking about it. So it's important to me that we pick 2 or 3 or 4 things, and then we discuss them in depth if we want to, that we have the space to, not just cramming them in because we can. We all scroll Twitter every day. We all doom scroll. We have been for many years. So that's not necessary. And also, I want to have room to do, lighthearted and fun stuff, because it's not appropriate. There's times when you break out into giggles when it's really not appropriate, and you have to. It all can't just be doom and gloom, and that's not the point of why I wanted to do this. You know, the
Mhm.
obviously the crime stuff is not the most cheerful things ever, but if you have a very dark sense of humor, I call it gallows humor. Like just it's
But
what it is.
like we said, the great thing about that is now if you want crime stuff, you go get the crime stuff, subscribe to that. And if you just want to hear our general stuff, you're already here. Um,
It'll also leave room
and
to actually write because we have like whole spaces to put blogs and blog posts and opinion pieces and stuff like that. Like,
yeah, and I think we're ultimately moving to a format where it's like maybe like 3 seasons a year. There's like a fall season, spring season, and summer, which can be fun. Hopefully next year we can travel. But I have about 20 episodes here in this fall season, and that is going to include some fun stuff like our Halloween show. We did not do a Halloween show last year. A Thanksgiving show, we didn't do that. We did a Christmas show, and y'all loved the Christmas show. Like, we're gonna have all of that
it was
back.
weirdly popular.
So I think the Halloween show is going to be fun. Who knows what's going to happen? We have talked about dressing up, so we may have to have a poll.
I
Maybe
would
y'all
say
want
that
us to dress up a certain way.
the Christmas show last year was weirdly popular. I did not expect. We did it because we like Cody loves talking about Christmas, so I was like, all right, well, let's. We were both in really festive moods, so I was like, yeah, you know what? I made a shit ton of cookies. Let's sit down and talk.
I think it's
And
one of our most listened to
literally
episodes.
outside of the Eileen Warnos and Aaron Hernandez episodes and Marsha P. Johnson, those three are our most popular. And then our Christmas episode is just like up. I'm like, what? Like, so people like hearing middle-aged gay men talk about Christmas.
Middle age? What are you talking about? I'm young and spry.
Girl, didn't you sprain your neck sleeping on a pillow wrong the other night?
Not since I got my purple. Everybody, purple. Purple mattress. It is in the captioning. Thank you. Purple mattress. Please sponsor us. I would
Yeah,
like
for real,
another
please.
purple mattress.
I would like a
And
purple.
Matt would also like a purple mattress, purple pillows as well, purple seat cushion. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, have
I'm actually sitting on the ground on floor. We bought floor cushions solely
you
to
need
sit on because I'm a child and sit on the ground. Um, and
you
we
need this
bought now
purple
I have them
cushion.
stacked up and I'm sitting here.
You
Because
need
last
this.
time I sat on this couch, we had some trolls pop into the chat room and question how I was sitting. They said it was something like a well, yeah, I'm a homosexual. That's kind of what happens.
I'm kind of upset that I didn't put it on the screen so that we could go back now and show it for our Friday special, a troll.
I took pictures of it.
Did you? We
Yeah,
actually, I saw this girl. We've been watching this YouTube channel, and she's like from San Francisco area, and she talks about vaccines, and she talked about honeybees, and she's really smart, and so all of her videos are very educational. It's about 8 to 10 minute educational videos. Anyway, I was looking her up and trying to see where she was from because she kept saying California, and like I'm always curious to see if it's someone like in Southern California, and there's like some connection and stuff like that because we have run across like some gardening people, and they're from San Diego, so it's kind of cool. And so I was looking her up, found her website, and her website has a section. I don't even know if I can remember. I have to go pull it up. Let's see. But basically, her website has a section for comments. And when you go to it, though, it's all of the negative comments that she's received. And it's so great. It's like, yeah, that's the way to do it because
there
then
was this
just
YouTube
let
singer I
people
used to follow
see.
that did that. She made a song. She wrote a song using only all her mean, hateful comments, and it was really funny.
That
Um,
is
it
funny.
brought me a lot of joy. I used to every now and then, like I thought about collecting some of the weird ass DMs I get, and like reading them for you guys. I was talking to Hawaiian Steven yesterday, and we were talking about like pushy guys, and it's like, um, so when my step grandfather died a few years ago, I think it was in 2019 or 2018, he had passed away, and we were not close. He was actually pretty awful to me most chances he got. But besides that, there were some people I needed to call, and my mom was close to him. So, like my feelings are irrelevant here, but you have phone calls to make. There are things that you need to do. And I did need a moment to process it because I did not despise the man. He got a little old and cranky. And this guy was just like DMing and snapping the I mean, I'm like, can you stop? I was like, man, I just like I need a minute here. And he goes, oh, are you not feeling well? I was like, no, I just had, a death in the family and I just need, he goes, oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. Basically, I sent you my dick, please respond. And I'm like, block. Oh my God. Like, like,
Wow.
it's like the ultimate, don't be sad. Want to see my, like, oh my God, seriously. um, so, oh, something, I was talking to Clint earlier because I wanted to check with you, make sure you were okay with me recording with him and sending you some stuff to see if you would just filter it in. But I was telling him, speaking of guys, that back in the day, there were a couple people that were just obsessed with him. One of my friends was like totally obsessed with Clint, and I mean, he obviously knew Clint was straight, and he never ever said anything or did anything uncomfortable. But I was telling Clint about it, and he's like, "Well, I guess take the compliments where you can get them." I was like, I appreciate you.
Right.
I
Okay,
mean, the
so
friend never did anything, so
yeah. So I found the girl's page. So um, here it is. And so you're like, oh, let's go to fan mail. And you go to fan mail, and it's the page of hate.
oh, I love this.
And so it's just like her comments from her blog, and then comments from Instagram. Um, and so it's just like so funny to just post it all up, and Twitter and everything. And it's like you see all these people's, accounts. You can see they're just like a horrible person. Um, but I just love that,
You should see
she.
this I post. I get like I actually recently posted some new stuff and then I got unfollowed by a bunch of people. It was really funny. I'll tell you more
Oh
about it in a
my
second.
goodness. So yeah, it's like I love that she has done that on her site. Also, she has like really good content. I might talk about it on one of the Friday shows. As one of the things that I'm liking, because I definitely am liking her content. It's very insightful, and you learn a lot quickly about something. I think it's kind of like Philip DeFranco. He really dives into like 3, 4, 5 big headline stories of the day. And you're able to learn something more than just like quickly reading a headline. He kind of dives deep into it. With her, it's one topic. I think she does like 2 videos a week, and it's just really insightful on different topics, such as wealth in America and taxes, and like the whole issue of taxing the rich. And then the most recent one was honeybees, which I was so excited about because I love, love, love bees. I want to actually have a beehive in the garden. That's the one thing we don't have that we want is a beehive. But you need a little bit more room than we have. We could probably put it on our roof, but then the problem is bringing it down to get the honey out because it's going to weigh a lot. So, but we have a lot of bees in the yard, which I've been excited about. I actually sent Matt a photo. We had some of the harvest for carrots and potatoes. It's my first time ever having any potatoes, so I harvested the potatoes yesterday, and then some carrots. And so I'm probably going to have about, I told Matt, like 500 carrots that I'm going to have to harvest. But basically, I'm just going to pick them when I need carrots. I'll just go outside and pick them, which is great about that. So potatoes and carrots can stay in the ground for quite a while without going bad. So it's like perfect. But yeah, bees so important. And so when I saw her video, I was like, gotta watch this. And then basically I become obsessed with her. I think that's how YouTube is. Basically, you become really obsessed with, you like click on something, you see it and you watch it, and it's like, oh, that's really good. And then you just, keep watching their stuff. There's like Mythical Kitchen is another YouTube channel. I'll have to talk about that one day on things that I'm loving. And it's basically a cooking show, and it's really funny, and the guy is really great on it, and it's so many great things in between a
I've
lot
been
of
wanting
not great
David to do a
things.
cooking show.
Do what?
I've been wanting David to do a cooking YouTube for years because he's a really good cook and he was trained to cook. And I really like his style. I mean, everybody has their own way of doing things in cooking and prepping. I love his cooking, and everybody that's ever visited loves his cooking. And but yeah, sorry I had to run for a second. But on
He'll
the
have to do a
whole
cooking thing with me.
yes, I'd love
What?
that.
How great
When are
would
you
that
going?
be? He'll be like super
And
tall, I'll be super short.
Oh my god, it'd be so adorable.
I've only actually done one cooking video on YouTube with one of my friends. Otherwise, it's only been me. I've always wanted to do it with more than one person, like joining in,
Oh
for a
yeah,
special. Yeah.
yeah. I love when more people join in for a special. But yeah, on that whole page o hate thing. Um, so I don't normally pay attention to follower accounts because I post for myself. So if people don't like it, unfollow. I don't care. But it is funny how I kind of expected. I did start paying attention not to do anything about it, but because I was curious when I started posting about my book, because sometimes people are like, oh, ew, unfollow. And I mean, I understand. So I'm not bothered by it. But it was on my alt account when I posted some stuff, and then I just got unfollowed, like boop, 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 boop. And it made me laugh. And then I was like, it made me kind of want to post more. So I did. And then, but yeah, it was funny. And then on my main account, it's happened as well because I'm like, I don't really know how you can like I'm very much who I am, and it's not a secret. So I just thought it was funny. Um, Generally, though, if I get shitty messages, it's almost always 99.99% of the times to my main account. Like
Hmm.
it's weird. You would think it would be the alt account, right? Like that, like
Yeah.
because people see a dick pic and think that's an open invitation to send weird things, but it's not. It's on my main account. People are like, "Oh, somebody the other day DM'd me and said, "You seem wholesome. How do you? Would you have any advice for reconnecting with family after a few years?" And I was like, "Well,
Hmm.
wholesome is not really a word I've ever had used to describe me in my adult life, but." And I had to say no because obviously I am not the right person to go to for rebuilding family ties. Hell, I don't even
Hmm.
know who half my family is. But and they're like, "Oh, well, thanks anyway." And I was like, "This is a really weird message. They didn't even introduce themselves." That's just the shit that happens in my DMs.
Wow.
I love cooking, but it always turns into a fun game of who will push the neighbors, think my house on fire, or the alarm company because my smoke detector's going off.
So that's one of the things here when we cook something. The vent above the oven doesn't vent out of the house for some reason. They didn't do that. And so it just vents through the microwave and then back out. So that's not very helpful. And so like
No, that's not helpful.
we do anything mainly if we're doing like steaks or burgers, and that's the only thing. Although burgers now don't because we don't get hamburger meat. We use Beyond Burgers or Impossible Burgers. But
I really
when
like
we
those
were
plant-based
doing
burgers.
that, they're really good. When we do
I
it, we would
I
always have
actually
the
love
smoke
them.
alarms go off. Yeah, we
Um,
like them because after you eat them, you just feel fine. You feel okay. After you eat a
yeah, I
burger,
don't
you're
feel
like,
like I.
oh.
Yeah, I always feel kind of ugh when I eat a regular hamburger, and I always have. But I when we tried the I kind of expected the plant-based ones to taste gross, but they didn't. They don't taste they taste like burgers, but not so grossly heavy. Though I will say, the I think it's the spicy black bean burger definitely has a side effect or two that I'm like, oh, oh, interesting. You know.
Yeah, see, I can't. So I can't do any. I don't personally care for any of the like vegetable based burgers, but like the Impossible and Beyond, which has does have some plant based, but they which I do love about it, and I think with the those two in particular, they add certain things. You know, that's why it's red. It bleeds. There's a lot of like science that goes into that to make it very very close to what meat is like. And so that's why I'm like, there's only a few reasons why people I don't think should eat that. Because otherwise, I think everyone, if you like hamburgers, eat Impossible or Beyond. It's the closest to meat, and you really can't tell. But
Yeah, even
the
those bean
price, the
burgers, like I
expense
don't
is
even
the
yeah, I don't even notice like a difference, and I will almost always want that after the gym or something, like especially for an afternoon workout. I'm like, can I get that? Like I just David's like, what do you want to do for lunch? I'm like that because I don't feel bad after.
mm-hmm.
Like I don't feel overly heavy, and they're easy to prep. They're fine, and they take the consistency is even the same, which is nice. Like a lot of times, substitutes or like when I had to eat gluten free for 5 years, um, there were things that the doctor's like, "Hey, this is what you're just gonna have to do, or you're gonna feel sick all the time." I'm like, all right, well, let's give it a shot. So I tried eating things at that time that were like substitute versions that were gluten free, and they were all awful. They just tasted awful. So instead of that, I started making myself try new stuff that I never tried before, and that's how I discovered there were some sushi that I loved, and there are things that I don't like. Like there's some sushi that I turned out to absolutely freaking love that I never would have tried otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
But there are still some that I'm like, thank you. I'll pick another one. I also learned that fresh is best. Like absolute fresh from a restaurant. That's it. That's the answer. But I never really had a problem eating fruits and vegetables. I just had to eat a lot more of them and then make sure I get enough protein. Which is, you don't really think about that when you're, middle school, high school,
Mm-hmm.
going into college. Like you don't think about, oh, I need to make sure I'm eating enough strawberries. I need to make sure I'm eating enough like protein. And should I have some oatmeal? Yeah, I'm fine. I'll get, you just don't think. And then now I'm like in my 30s and I got my numbers back from last year and I was like, interesting. Maybe I should do something.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Chris says,
Oh,
I
yeah.
tried the Boca Burger once and it wasn't bad, just different. But I can't tell that my body is, but I can tell my body is changing because I can't eat steak and stuff like I used to. I get a bit of a tummy ache the next day.
I don't even
Yeah,
like steak anymore. I used to not, I don't exactly love it on its best days, but I actually prefer it medium rare to rare. Yeah, I know. And which is why I don't eat it very often because I'm too paranoid. But taste wise, that's what I prefer. But safety wise, you know
have
what I
you
mean? Like,
have you seen that? It's a chart. There's multiple of these, but it's like, how do you have your toast done? How do you do your coffee? And how do you do your steak, basically? And there's a chart, and it's like has different, basically
yeah, I like a little
more
bit of
well
moonlight.
done or blood.
Yeah, but I
Mine would be
won't. I
burnt
generally
crispy.
medium rare all day. Yeah, medium rare is actually
No,
my favorite.
gross.
Okay, well, chewing on a piece of rubber is gross, Cody.
Well done all day. I
That's
used to
gross.
like in hamburgers used to always be well done too. Now I'll do
Yeah, it's a hamburger. Hamburger is different. No,
medium
problem with that
medium
is that
well.
those things are really steak and stuff like that's really heavy and hard on you, and all those good old boys that act like they're all tough and everything, eating their steaks every day and how strong they are. If you look at their numbers, they're massively unhealthy.
Yeah.
And that's why
Yeah.
they feel like crap all the time. And if they say they don't feel like crap, please note you don't really see many of them going for walks successfully.
Well, I was gonna say,
So,
if the people who probably are eating steak all the time are not going for walks or not exercising,
because
and
they're
the
dead.
rest of their menu or meals are also going to be like,
Right.
also
Well,
just as a
it's
heavy, it's a
wild. You
lot. It's a
can get
lot.
away with it, and you can get away with it for a very long time, and then one day your body is like,
But
nope.
also, it's just like, why would you want that every day? Like, I love certain things, but I can't eat it every
You're literally.
day.
I could answer that for you.
Do what?
Like I was literally raised like so. My stepdad was very much like steak and potatoes. Like that's what you eat. I'm like, God,
See, my
is this
mom
what growing
loves
up is?
hamburgers, and so she always ate hamburgers. But again, it wasn't like every day or like multiple times a week. It's just like, ugh, have some variety in there.
Yeah, have ribs. I do love ribs.
I don't
But
like ribs either. I can't eat anything off of a bone. Nope, nope.
are you sure? Like, I know that you are
Ugh.
technically a Texan, but I really feel like you are actually a. I think you were born in California. I actually think that you were transplanted to Texas, and you've just returned to the motherland by
Return to the
going to
motherland.
California. Yeah,
I
that's
know. Wait till well, summer's almost over, but wait till I get my tan on. I think we're gonna go to the beach next weekend. It's gonna be hot. Wait till I get my tan on. I'm gonna get my new bleaching done. This has run its course. It's almost gonna be time to cut it out. When I used to travel here once a month, there would be people like on the airport in the airplane. I'd be sitting next to older women or something or whatever, and they'd be like, "Oh," they'd be like, "Where are you?" And they were like, I was like, "Oh, I'm from Texas, but I'm going to San Diego." And they're like, "Oh, yeah, I thought you were from California. You look like a California boy." Like, "Oh, okay, I'll take it. There's nothing wrong with that." But according to that
you're,
lady on Facebook, she said I was a Hollywood type, and that was supposed to be a
yeah.
negative. That's a positive, honey. I
But
should
I'm
have
just like,
responded to her. But I didn't tell you this. So if you missed it, I was arguing with this lady on Facebook about COVID. I don't know exactly how it happened, but basically she then was like, "Oh,
Doesn't know how
uh,
it happened.
well, I don't know the exactly what she was saying, but she was fighting against something about COVID and masks and vaccines. And then I wasn't personally saying this. I was just saying this is the facts according to blah 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 whatever whatever. Uh, and it was something that really wasn't indisputable. Like I don't even know if like Republicans are in general disputing whatever I said. So it wasn't even necessarily fully controversial. But her response was like, "What are you? The next Doogie Howser or something? Oh, you probably don't even know who that is. You're too young."
Right.
And then went
Like
on to like,
obviously
"Oh,
they
you're
did.
one of those Hollywood types. We don't want any of y'all here." And I was like, "Okay, no, none of that was negative. I love Doogie Howser. Thank goodness she thought I was like young. Like he was like, I don't know, like 16 when he became a doctor on that show. So yeah, thank you for thinking I'm 16 and Hollywood type. Oh, that's positive. I should have responded to her and been like, oh my God, thank you. I just totally appreciate those compliments. Thank you so much.
You're
But
like,
I went
I'm
back.
actually a Texan, but okay.
I went back later and she had deleted her comments. So I think she was like, oh, that made me look kind of bad. I'm going to delete that. So props for
Yeah.
her for recognizing that, I guess. Chris says, Matt, share your new outfit that your
Oh,
student outfit was a great pick.
did I send it to you, Cody? I
Is
didn't.
it the I don't know.
In my scrubs.
Yeah. Is there more than
Oh,
one, or
okay.
is that the one?
That's the one, but I don't know where it's. I don't know when I sent it to you, so I'll just send you. Do you want me to send you the new one?
Sure. Um, but yeah, so that wasn't a negative comment. But yeah, I love my Southern Californianess now, and I haven't even told Matt this. Goodness. Um, we've been talking Olympics so much. We He did know that I went for my driving test, not driving test. I went for a written test because I had my Texas driver's license. It expired last year. Couldn't redo it because I wasn't getting back to Texas. They were closed here for doing it for like until like earlier this spring, and so I finally went. It's been over a year. The last time I drove was last June, so it's been a long time since I've actually even driven. But the idea was when you come from out of state, you don't have to take a new driving test, but you have to take a written test. So I was like, oh, like there's a lot of things that you just do that are just natural that you don't think about because that you've just always been doing it since you've been driving. But when you're like specifically asked a question, then it's like you start second guessing yourself, and there's four options. Or there's some things that are more specific to California, like speed limits or certain rules like that, which I just didn't know. And then some of the rules don't make any sense, so you just have to know what the right answer is, because I think whatever the right answer is not the right answer, but whatever. So I had studied and studied. I was so nervous. I didn't have to take the
He
test,
was.
and they were just like, "Oh, here's the information. Uh, Go take your picture." And I was done so quickly, and I was like, "Oh, thank God."
You didn't
But then
even
I
tell
was
me that part.
did I not? Oh my God. Yeah, so
No,
I
you
I
made
was
it sound
wait
like you took the test.
so I was waiting in
Chris, all the
line.
way.
Uh,
Cargaze. I
there
cannot wait
was
till we can go buy a new car.
a long line, and I had made an appointment, which was annoying. The other line was going faster. Anyway, so I was so nervous, and then I was trying to get the real ID, um, because that's what you're going to have to travel with, unless you have a passport. But it's just nice to have it on your driver's license as well. Um,
Right.
and so you have to have like multiple ID information, and one of mine was a note from my doctor, to basically say, I guess I am. It all doesn't make any sense, because if I have a passport, that should count, because that had gone through a lot of, like, if a passport works, why can't you take my passport and just give me the real ID? Stupid. I don't know. And it seems like there's different rules in different states. But the girl comes by and she's trying to help speed up the line. So when you get to the counter, and she's like, "Oh, this isn't going to work because your doctor wrote in your name and it's not typed. Your name isn't typed." Further in the letter, my name is typed, but because at the top where it was like two, because she had mailed it to me, it was written in. And I was like, okay, that's dumb. It doesn't make sense. My name is here. Also, they allow photocopies. I could have made this entire thing up. I wouldn't do that. That would be illegal. But I could have done that. This is all dumb. This is not showing I'm Cody. Whatever. But so go through all of that, and then they start doing my information, and then it was going really fast, so fast, in fact. Well, slow down a little bit because the lady who was helping me just decided to have a conversation with the worker next to her, and so they had a conversation for like 5 minutes. And then
That's
she
nice.
finally finished filling out the paperwork. It was because I'd already filled out everything before I went, and so she was just having to like check and approve. Then I get my photo, and then I have to take it to another desk, and they're like, "Okay, here you go. It'll be here in 2 weeks, and here's your temporary." And I was like, "Oh my god, thank God I don't have to take a test." And then I finally did last weekend get my hard copy California driver's license. So I guess it is official now. After all this time here, I am
Was it like six
officially,
years now or something?
yeah, I'm officially a California resident.
Oh, so
So
I did not get
I
my
love it.
Texas driver's license for a very long time. And it wasn't until David had to go out of town to, I think he went to Miami for work. And I was like, oh, well, I'll just go and just get my license. It was going to expire like while he was gone. He's like, are you kidding me? Because he did it really quick. But when we
Hmm.
got here, he worked from home. I didn't. I worked down the street in the State Farm building in Austin for the first year. So months and months go by, and I'd ended up buying a new car not too long after I moved to Austin. So all my registration and stuff was all updated to Texas. My license just wasn't. Our addresses were everything, just not my actual driver's license. And I just kind of kept putting it off because I didn't want to go down to the DMV and deal with it because it's a pain in the ass. And I dealt with everything else. It was the last thing on the list. And finally, I take all this because they need a ton of paperwork. I mean, Texas needs a ton of paperwork. It's amazing how much paperwork they need for something so fucking basic. But I go there and I'm like, they're like, oh, we don't know if you're going to take it because my when I divorced my ex husband and went back to my birth name, um, my social security card says my married last name, my
Mm-hmm.
first from my first husband,
Mm-hmm.
and but I may have broken a rule or two, and I did not throw away my very first social security card that has my birth name on it, the one that was given to my
Mm-hmm.
mom back in the 80s. So for some reason, I felt like I should hang on to this. So I didn't use it for anything. I just locked it away. Well, they did restore my name post divorce because that was in our divorce agreement, and the judge approved it. And they said they'd restore it, but they never sent me a new social. So I told the DMV this because there's no point in not. He's like, well, we're just gonna run it through, and if if it doesn't process, you're gonna have to go to the Social Security office here in Texas, get a new one, and then come back. Well, lo and behold, they had restored it, and I had my original did work. So they were
It's
able,
good.
yeah, which is one of the reasons because I had to request some information. That's one of the
Mm-hmm.
reasons it got delayed was I had to collect all this information that they wanted, which took a month or two. um,
Uh,
yeah,
Chris says, Cody, how do you live without driving every day? I would go into massive withdrawals. Again, the last time I drove was last June. Like right. Well, no, that's not even true. That's not even true. The last time I drove was probably March of 2020 when I went to pick up my friend Gabe from the airport. And obviously that was in the middle of the pandemic. His tour got canceled and he was coming home. Um, and so that was the last time I drove. And then we never left the house. We did not from that point on, we did not leave the house until July. So there was a whole ton of months where we never even left the house one bit. Um, and then we did start going out occasionally in the fall and then winter, and then we kind of pulled it back when it got really bad in the winter. So there was never a need for us to go out. We wanted to go out, but we didn't feel safe doing it. Also, I don't have a car, so I have nothing to drive, and then I don't really I can drive Justin's car. I've driven it one or two times, but I wouldn't want to drive it. I wouldn't feel comfortable doing it necessarily, and so I just don't have a car. So that's a problem. But I am going to drive for the first time since March of 2020 tomorrow morning, like at four, no, about 5 in the morning. 5 in the morning, I'll be driving for the first time in over a year and a half, because I'm going to be taking Gabe to the airport, he is going back out on tour, and he flies out tomorrow early morning. So exciting for him. And then he'll leave his car here, and so then I will be able to, like, if I need to go to the store, without waiting on Justin to get off work, I can just run to the store. If I need to go do something, I can. Although we're starting to
Which
pull
is
it
exciting.
back currently right now here. And then he says, Chris, do you guys like your license picture? I love mine. I think it was around 2012, 2013 when it was taken, and they keep letting me use that pic when I renew it. So my Texas license, I don't know if I ever sent it to Matt. Everyone always makes fun of it because I look, apparently, I don't think I do, but apparently I look very Hispanic, and my hair is pretty long. And
Well, now you have to send
so
it to
I feel
you
like,
need
I
to
mean,
show
I
it.
do look like a different person now versus that. And this newest one, like I was just like not paying attention. I had my mask on, and so I had to take off a mask real quick. And then I had a bag across my chest. And I was like, oh my God, I wanted to take the bag out. I didn't want that in the picture, but you can't see it. You can't see it, thankfully. And the picture's really good.
Cody, I
And you
need
can
to see the
smile.
picture now.
You can smile. Like some places, they don't let you smile for driver's license photos. She was like, you can smile. You don't
Jesus,
have to smile.
a cat fight just
And
broke out at the door and scared the hell out of me.
but yeah, so I like mine. I like mine. I've always all of mine pretty much I've liked, except some of my earlier ones where I had like braces, and it's like, cut that one. Uh, Chris,
Um,
I don't know why you're just learning about it, but it is. And he also
my
says,
newest.
Matt, we need to start saving Dakota car. No. And Matt, do you like your license?
So I have my one from Pennsylvania. When I moved up there, I kind of changed my diet. I promised myself that when we moved to PA that I would kind of make sure to get away from like my methods of eating from like my college days. So I started eating really healthy, and my skin cleared up. And unintentionally, I had unintentionally went on an anti-inflammatory diet without realizing it. So my skin cleared up, and I gained a little bit of weight. So I look very healthy in my Pennsylvania driver's license picture, which I actually still have. I'll send it to Cody. I look like a totally different person. Total twink. Total twink. Um, I'm tan. I'm still very fresh out of Florida. I'd only lived in PA for like a month. But it was enough time for me to just get a lot more sleep and relax.
Mm-hmm.
And then my Texas picture, I don't really like that much because I get like no sunshine whatsoever. So I always feel like I look unhealthily pale, and none of the lights I have on help at all with that.
You know what? I don't want
But
to call you Casper anymore. I feel like I'm going to call you Edward.
uh, ew. Oh, ouch.
Edward is amazing.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get that picture. I'm gonna
Okay.
show you what my life looked like.
This is what Matt looks like as going to be a nursing student. He's ready to rock and roll. Yeah, so Chris, yeah, I'm not gonna get a car right now anytime soon, because it doesn't, I guess, make any sense, especially since my friend is leaving his car here for me to use. I'm on the insurance for his car, and so like when he was gone on tour before the pandemic, I used his car because like right before he went on the pandemic, I sold my truck. I had a Chevy Avalanche, and I sold my truck because there was something wrong with it. It was going to cost a lot of money, and just didn't make sense to put that money towards an old car versus just getting a new one. But then my friend went on tours. Then I could use his. So I used his car for over a year. Then he came back, obviously, and then if we need to go anywhere, since he's been staying with us, I just go. He drives me. And then now that he's going to be gone, he'll be gone for almost a year, about 9 months. So I'll have the car to use then. And then at that point, if he stays in town, then I'll probably start thinking about is it make sense to get a car. Now I want uh, a Bronco, the new Bronco. I think it looks so cute. I've seen one before on the road, and then we saw one pretty up close this past weekend, and it was so cute. And they have some really good colors. Although hopefully by the time I get uh, or we're able to get that, it'll be electric, because I would rather have an electric or at least a hybrid out here. It makes sense because there would be plenty of charging capabilities here. And then I can't drive a stick shift. I can only do automatic. Chevy Avalanche. Yeah. I like the Chevy Avalanche. We use it a lot. Carrying things and everything. We've had to make do with taking things from Home Depot now, trying to get them to the house because they don't really fit in small cars. Although my friend has a Kia Soul, and you can get quite a bit of stuff in that. So that's been very helpful. I have seen the Bronco Sport, but not the full Bronco yet. It's so cute. I love it. There's like a certain color that I want. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Um, it's like this, so cute. Well, there's two colors that I like. Maybe.
Do you know what else I have, Cody?
What?
So you guys can see this.
Oh,
It's my main gate pass.
Look at that, everybody. Matt back.
Hey, Cody. But
I can't even think of what I'm saying. Flashback to a time that I wish I had known Matt, but I did not.
so, speaking of Disney, me.
Look at little twink Matt.
Oh, very little twink Matt. Then we have. Hold on, I need to make sure I don't like accidentally like 16-year-old me.
Oh wow.
He was
Okay.
ish.
Yeah, and again, people, we do have a podcast where Matt talks about that.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, here it is. This Pennsylvania. Hold on. My address is like
It's so tiny.
I know.
I love it.
Oh my gosh.
I love it.
There we go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A super. When I had hair, so you can actually see my cowlick in this picture. This is from 2009. My hair is not parted. That's just my hair. My cowl. I have a cowlick right here that just shows all the hair over. So yeah, that's
super cute.
I didn't age for like. Oh, there's a random here for one of my school IDs in 2014. Oh. I just basically didn't age until I was like 31, and then it was like boom.
Oh, Matt, you're fine. Chris says, yeah, around town I wouldn't mind electric, but for long trips I don't know if I would do an electric car. So yeah, my worry for that long trip would be if I was going to drive back from here to Texas or anything like that. I would be a little worried because there's not a lot in those areas. It is on the interstate though, so there would be some places. Anywhere in California, I would not worry at all. Like driving up to San Francisco or anything like that, because there's a lot of places to charge or quick charging real quick. But yeah, this is one of the colors that I would like. So this one is Area 51. I love Area 51 color. I also I love the Cyber Orange. But
is that
then
the new
this
Bronco?
Yeah, this antimatter blue is really
road.
cute. I know. So I was telling Chris, I saw one previously on the road, but then yesterday we saw one like really up close, and it's so cute. And I want it, but it's so expensive. I said I was hopeful that by the time I actually get a car, or it's time to maybe think about getting a car, they will have a hybrid version or an electric version, which probably will be the case. But I would probably get this Area 51 color. I really like that color.
They had.
I think this is the one we saw.
There's a silver Ford Bronco. I've seen it twice. It must be the same one, but it was the 4-door version, and I actually up close I was like, oh, okay, I am not upset. I am okay with this.
Yeah, I would want the 4-door
those old
one.
pictures. I'm like, okay, I need to get some like self tanner and maybe some risky elective surgery. Like, oh,
well, I'll let you know if my self tanner works. I got two kinds because whatever, but I haven't been able to use it because my eczema has been really bad, and so I don't want to be even more splotchy. But this will cover your splotches, white splotches, that is, where I have no pigment. And that's the problem here. There's no pigment. But my skin is finally okay-ish enough to do it. So I'm going to start testing different self-tanners out that will apparently last pretty good. And they don't streak or they're not orange. So I'm excited about doing that.
personally think, Cody, you need to show us your driver's license picture.
Well, I don't have it around here right now.
I hate Ford, but I would need to see a Bronco in person to make a final decision. I need something to tow stuff with.
It will tow. No, that's not that will tow something. It's not the one I was thinking of. That was the truck that will tow a helicopter for you.
The F-150.
Yeah, I do love that
so
truck.
Clint did a whole podcast about it, and we're like, what kind of marketing person in the middle of everything that's happened in the last several years went, the average person will totally love this because, to tow their helicopter. So relatable,
I mean, you never know. I always think it's these people who don't want to tax the rich are the people who would want the truck, and they don't want to tax the rich because when they get rich, they don't want to be taxed. But it's like, you're never going to be rich.
Alert, we're not going to be rich.
I do like that
children.
truck.
You're not going to be rich.
I do like that truck. And if we lived in Texas or out here and we did have like animals and we needed like get hay and move things around like in big bulk amounts, I would totally get that one. I love that it's electric and everything. And yeah, I would totally do that. But we don't have that right now, so there's no need for such a huge vehicle. But
we are just hoping to get through nursing school, and as long as we can possibly, I mean, I cannot wait to be able to buy another car. But practically speaking, we are really hoping to get as far as we can with just the Escape to not have to worry, so that we can, it's just less of an expense. Even when you own the car outright, you still have to buy the car, so it's like.
Mm-hmm.
And Ava's protesting.
Chris says, so with towing a little Tacoma would pull a helicopter, just slowing it down that's the issue. Yeah, I want the Bronco so bad, but again, it doesn't make sense since I'll have a vehicle, and then even when I don't, it doesn't necessarily make sense because Justin works from home, and so like it just doesn't make sense to do that right now. But maybe one day it will. When we have our lambs and our goats and our cows and our donkeys and our llamas and our alpacas and our horses and our pigs and our chickens and yeah, the list goes on
and the whole entire staff that you're going to need to take care of that.
We told Gabe.
I feel like, are you going to be? Oh God.
He'll have to.
Something. I can't. No. Okay. No.
Well, everybody.
I almost sent us for a canceling.
Everyone always thought it was going to be me. It's going to be Matt.
It might still be. I didn't say it.
Well, everybody, we have approached our hour mark. And
yeah, we really have.
If there's anything else, Chris, you want us to comment on? Or if there's anybody else here in the chat room who wants us to comment on something.
Yeah, we'll still be doing. I think Fridays, my hope for Friday as we go forward, or especially in season 3, is that it's kind of more of a mix of what Fridays are and Sundays are now. Friday's I think should become more of a kind of a combo of that. Like if we have stuff we want to talk about, it'll just become part of that. It won't just specifically be only news events and stuff like that, because everybody's going back to work. Things are rolling forward in a way. Hi, baby.
Although they should be closing down.
Yeah, they should be.
The baby.
Meow. Hi, Eva. Just my girl. Down, yeah.
So sweet. Salem is passed out.
There was a cat fight that broke out at the door. It scared me. That's why I jumped, because they rolled into the door. They're getting so much better by the day. Just when so one of Ava's favorite games is to kind of run and almost play tag and then run away. They kind of chase each other back and forth. Kitty is about 50% bigger than her. So when he does that while she's running, it literally will cause her to slide or roll over, and I think it scares her. Mm-hmm. And then he doesn't understand, so he's kind of still trying to swat and bat at her. And Luna gets very upset if Ava hisses. so it kind of calls in the cavalry. And she has calmed down and only seems now to step in if it gets loud, really loud. But with Luna having ripped out a claw, one from each of her front paws, let me tell you, those bleed a lot, and it makes your kitty very unhappy. She has done a lot of sleeping because obviously her paws hurt. So when she's trying to run along to get her food because she loves her food, she's like kind of nubbing it along. She's like, poor thing. I've had to
The
carry
poor
her a few
baby.
times. Yeah, I've had to carry my poor baby around. By the way, she has lost another pound or so.
Oh, yay.
So she started this journey at 20 pounds even, and she's below 17 pounds now. We've gone now to weighing her once a month. We weighed her every single week the first 2 or 3 months to make sure that she was actually losing weight. So cats will lose about a pound a month healthy if they're at a healthy weight. So, but we wanted to make sure that because if she isn't losing weight at all, that tells us something else might be wrong. So we tracked it every week for a while, and then it looked like she was losing almost exactly a pound a month. So
it's good.
She's
coming on down. Ella needs to do that.
We can see her shoulders, hips, and shape. And actually, this is really good timing because my laptop is about to die.
And Chris, real quick, says, I'm just happy that Friday Live will still be around. I'm excited for you, Matt. I really hope you have fun. Yeah, it'll still be here.
Love doing it. We absolutely love doing it.
Who knows? Maybe I'll pop in, or maybe if I'm not available and Matt's free, he might pop in just random. Who knows? You never know what's going to happen.
We do love doing it, but right now it's just because like David's going back to work starting tomorrow. Actually, he started a new job, and so he has to get up early, and we both get up at between 6 and 6:15 because we need to. If we're going to work out, we have to go before the day gets going.
Like we said, there's with your schooling, just let you have time, and also since y'all are going to bed earlier, the time difference does not work with West Coast time.
No, it puts
because
me
when
up
he's going to bed, we're just eating, and it's just. But yeah, so it's just that it's not a scheduled show anymore. So there might be random things, like I said, or whatever. You know, I might be bored, and I might just have to hop on and just be like, okay, everybody.
And if I'm available, I absolutely will still join in. I love doing this. It's so much fun. But we obviously don't want to set a commitment that we might not necessarily be able to meet. And also, when you put that kind of pressure on yourself, it makes it harder for a podcast to thrive. Because if we tell you guys, hey, we're going to be here this time, even if you choose not to show up that time for us, that's okay. But we're the ones that said we were going to be there. So if you do decide to log in and we're not here without warning or at last minute, it's like, okay, thanks, dicks.
But yeah, so we have a new 2 podcasts coming out this week, and we are just this is the week we're talking about celebrities who don't bathe, Matt Damon, and we're talking about politicians, the need for more LGBT politicians. So those are 2 different podcasts, Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's our last regular podcast of that season. Friday show, Friday the 13th. I know. Friday the 13th is a great day, though. 100th episode from all of the shows that we've ever done will be on Friday, so that's going to be a fun show. And then the next week, we move to the 1 episode a week. But we'll post all of that stuff. You'll know about it all. There'll be a lot more posting and different things and
I'm
a lot of stuff happening.
My laptop really is trying to die, so I'm trying to get all the pressure
off
of it.
So we're going to go ahead and let you go in case Matt just dies away. But anyway, we hope all of you will join us on Friday at 5 o'clock Pacific for our 100th show. Share it with your friends. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun to hang out with us, and you'll get to see some old clips and some new stuff. And then we'll be sure telling you our complete schedules and what's happening, what you can expect. Maybe there'll be a little teaser of what's to come because it will be coming the next week. So we'll have to do that. But it's going to be exciting. And again, thank you for being on this journey. We love that you've enjoyed these Sunday shows. And
they've been my
whatever
favorites.
Shows. So with that, I guess, everybody, we will see you Friday. Be sure and check out those episodes, though, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Anyway, everybody, bye.
Bye.